Today's lesson about manifesting your dream life is going to be a explanation of why you can even do that and what it means to have your specific viewpoint of your dream life and how you go about manifesting the awareness of your dream life and how to experience it physically. So, this is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. And what form do you take now? What does that mean? What form do you take now? You see, because any thought, any feeling you have, they are manifestations. Thoughts and feelings are manifestations in and of themselves. They are not just random. Okay, they're not more. See, it may seem random, but they are reflections of the many versions of the selves that you already exist in, from the physical viewpoint that you are now experiencing as your physical self. They don't mean anything. They're just giving you and showing you what's already within your awareness. You don't have to give them any meaning, but you can just give them meaning of fictional versions of yourselves that you are experiencing in what you consider past, future versions, but they're all happening now. And usually they're about doing something because you do identify with the three-dimensional version of yourself. So you have levels of awareness, and you can think of it like this: certain levels from being unaware, as in unconscious, or fully aware, fully conscious. And when I say awareness, and when I say fully conscious, the realization that you are God itself. When I say God, I mean source. When I say source, I mean all of reality, that infinite intelligence that controls the movement and experiences of everything within reality itself simultaneously. You are that source, right? So as you become more aware, you begin to see how things could be. In the simplest way, let's say you are cutting vegetables in the kitchen, right? And you cut them the same way over and over and over and over, and you're kind of aware that maybe there's a better way to do this. But then something clicks one day, and you become, wow, this is much better to do this, and it becomes your natural state of being. Now, you think, why have I never thought about this before? Why? It's because your thoughts and feelings and your focus was on just being that version of yourself that you were currently experiencing. And it could be the simplest thing, but the simplest change in reality is a enormous complete change in reality. You were always changing, but you were changing into something that was similar to what you were before. But now, with the realization that you are awareness, the jumps seem even bigger in the moment. Even if the larger part of reality doesn't seem as if it's changed, you are that larger part of reality. You don't need all of it to change to seemingly change for you what you desire to be your physical experience of it. Remember, you don't change reality, you choose what your experience of it is from the infinity that you actually are. So when you have a new idea, it's literally your awareness, your focus slipping into that slipstream that already existed, where you had that idea and you experience life in and as that idea. And it could be as simple as cutting vegetables in a different way. Okay, there's no magnitude and minuscule to God. It's all God everywhere. No matter how small a blade of grass may be, or how enormous a star in the nightscape might be, it's all you. You are literally the experiencing of it. The blade of grass can't necessarily experience itself as a blade of grass, but through your mechanism of experiencing, you experience all of it from this viewpoint that you are now. So the more you become aware, the more you see everything, the more your mind, your emotions, your feelings can erupt. They can become much more overwhelming because you are more aware of more of what you are. You start to allow yourself to really be more of what you are. And so then you're awake in the script now. You're a actor in a movie who woke up, who is now in the movie, but now, okay, I don't really prefer this movie. What movie do I prefer? I prefer my rom-com. I prefer my adventure. I prefer my action movie. I prefer my drama. I prefer my healthy, wealthy, free and in love movie. Okay, then you imagine something, right? You are that reality now. You get to choose your reality via your consciousness, Because as the physical actor, you have no power, but as consciousness, to move your consciousness into something else, you are that reality. And you've been so used to study, work, the popular phrase of, hustle to get this and that or whatever, right? Doing creates output. You've been hardwired to believe that. And I don't mean that there won't be any physical work for you to do. I mean, there isn't work for you to do to make it exist. It already exists. Any work you do comes about the unfolding of it. So now you start to really wake up, right? And then maybe at this point you become aware of Abraham Hicks or Dr. Wayne Dyer or Eckhart Tolle or some guy on TikTok named Reese, right? And you hear about law of attraction, law of assumption, reality creation. So I'm wondering, okay, wait, my thoughts create things. And then you go into the spiral that we all kind of experience, which is, oh, my thoughts create things. Now I better have this wonderful term, mental diet, right? It's all just rubbish, frankly. Because it's not your thought that creates the thing, it's how you are thinking about that thought. If that thought is meaningless, it's not going to pop into your reality. And even if it does, it doesn't matter because, one, you've made it meaningless, right? Because all of reality is actually technically meaningless, right? Not even technically, it is meaningless. You're the one that gives it meaning. So, what's really going on here when things happen, right? You used to brush them off as coincidence, but now these coincidences keep on happening. So you start to ask yourself who you really are. You are reality, but now in the sense that, am I the being that's talking? Or am I the being that's observing? Or am I everything? That one. You are everything. You are the physical version of yourself talking. You are the metaphysical version of yourself that is aware, but you are everything in awareness as God. You are literally all of it simultaneously, right? Otherwise, you couldn't really experience anything where you're separate from it completely. You're not separate from it. You're experiencing complete separation from it because you are one with all of it, so you can experience it because it's all you. Whew, mouthful there, but let's go. You are God, right? You are literally God. Sometimes you don't even know what you're about to say, but you know that there is a fully formed sentence within you and you're kind of just unfolding what's there. So you're simultaneously experiencing what it is you're going to say, as well as knowing that you already kind of have the idea said, so you're kind of just going along with it, right? It's very much that Matrix scene where it's like, no, you already made the choice. You already have the sentence. You're just kind of going along to see why, right? Now, you are God, and now you feel, okay, I'm God, but now you kind of have this thought that I'm the small three-dimensional experiencing of God. I'm the small, useless, physical version of myself that can't manifest a glass of water in my hands, right? That's not how it works. When you imagine yourself holding the cup of water, it's done. That means at some point you will unfold from this very moment of you imagining. Before that, you will hold a glass of water. But here's the thing, imagination and the awareness of an idea is simply telling you what you are now currently aware of being, right? It is already done in that sense. So when things happen, what we tend to do is question who and what we are thinking about, okay? Because sometimes things happen and you go straight to, well, hold on, I wasn't thinking about that. I thought thoughts create things. I wasn't thinking about that. And then it happened. Okay, here's my explanation of that. The higher being that you are, Source, knows what you are going to think, okay? It absolutely knows you. Why? It is you. It is all of you, and it knows what you have currently or will assume of a certain idea, and it knows whether or not that idea is going to hinder you from the experience you have now chosen, right? So you manifest these things unconsciously to put your conscious awareness on the assumption that you will now have of it, so you can drop it. Okay, I wasn't thinking about my bag getting stolen. I can't create my reality like this. I wasn't thinking about that kind of thing. It happens so you can see what and where your mind will automatically focus and decide whether or not it's what you and how you want to be focused. Why does it do that? Because how you think about something or the meaning you give something creates the event. The event also calls forth the way you will think about it. You see, those two things are exactly the same because they both exist now simultaneously as experience. So whether it happens before or after, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to take care of your mental state. You just have to give a continuous meaning to whatever it is you want or however it is you want reality to be. And if something is irrelevant, just give it that meaning. It's irrelevant, gone. It doesn't matter. It's gone back into the ether of who you really are, right? Your consciousness is merely selecting reality. It cannot fix anything. It can't change anything. It can't do anything with reality. You don't do anything with reality. You only do within, and only doing is choosing. That's it, right? So you imagine that which is within you, and then you reframe this understanding, or I decided to reframe this understanding of what form do I take now, right? Because when you really understand reality, is that you are reality and you are the physical identity. We say who are you because we associate who with identity, right? So you are technically an identity as well. But I like the phrase, what form do you take now? Because you are a formless being and you are giving form to everything, whether it's my physical self and the room that I am in. I am the one giving form to the room that I am in and the physical being that I am, because I am reality. And I say form because that's how you manifest money, health, wealth, whatever. Because money is you in another form, and that version of you experiencing that wealth is another identity experiencing itself as wealth. Because how can you experience yourself as wealth if you, one, don't have money, and two, don't have a physical form to experience it, right? You need both, but both have to be you in order for you to actually create something from this as an idea of wealth, right? So you are God. What form do you take now? You have a blank imagination, a blank stage, an open stage, a blank page, a blank check, if you will. Who are you? What do you claim as real for you? What if everything was being manifested by you right now? What would you imagine yourself to be? And remember, your desires are unique. Even if you think that the person you're in love with, someone else is in love with them, it's not the same version of them because it's not the same version of you. Remember, it's infinite, infinite, infinite. It's three parts of infinity looking at each other. And it splits off into infinity. That there's a version of you with that person and not with that person. There's a version of them with you and the other person and neither. And there's a version of them with that person and someone else and neither. It's all of it and all of the above, all together as one reality. Okay, so you can't feel guilt. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel remorse. You cannot change anything. That's a pointless endeavor. Trust me. And you need only know that it is done. Your dream life exists for you, through you, and as you right now. So who do you say you are? What form do you take of reality? Who are you? Right? So when you really understand that you are God and you are reality and you have money manifest within you already as wealth, you have health manifest within you as the body that you desire to have, you have every specific person you could ever desire and not desire because you are reality. You have the absolute and utter freedom and fulfillment of the knowing that you are one with reality. So hope that makes sense. Hope that's a clear blueprint. I really broke it down succinctly there. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much light, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.